On Sunday, we spring forward, meaning we gain more daylight in the evening, but we lose an hour of sleep. Only 1 in 3 adults get the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night.
Oh, man. So since March is National Sleep Awareness Month, we have asked Dr. Justin Dunn, who volunteers with the American Heart Association, to join us. So, Dr. Dunn, I'm kind of nervous about this conversation.
Yeah.
But let's start with just how not sleeping enough can impact your heart.
Yeah, when we talk about risk factors for heart disease, stroke, a lot of times we forget that poor sleep habits is also a risk factor. And it also exacerbates or increases the other risk factors for stroke. It can increase and heart attack. It can increase your high blood pressure. It can kind of increase inflammation in the body, which then leads to increased plaque buildup in the body over time. So poor sleep habits, definitely a risk factor for cardiac disease over time. And I think that getting that 7 to 9 hours definitely is something we want to try to focus on a routine basis, not something we do kind of willy-nilly, but really finding a regimen that works and sticking to it is really what works to decrease your cardiac risk moving forward.
You know, with the time change happening in a few days, what can we do, if anything, to prepare our bodies now for it?
Yeah, it's interesting. We do see, through some population studies, we see some kind of a connection between that 1 hour time change does make a difference. You know, the next day or next couple of days, we often see a slight bump in cardiac events or strokes. And so, you know, we try to tell people, look, you know that there's an abrupt change in your sleep cycle coming up soon. So try to prepare for that by slowly easing into it. It's like anything in life or anything in medicine, you want to kind of ease into it, not have an abrupt change. So over the days and weeks prior to that time change, maybe start changing your sleep habit a little bit at a time, going to bed a few minutes later or earlier depending on the time change, and then getting to that 1 hour mark. By the time the time changes, then you're already prepared for it and you're ready to go, so it's not such an abrupt shock to your body.
Yeah, harder thing to do with the kids.
It is.
If people, though, are struggling to fall asleep, what are some things they could use to help them relax?
Well, I think one mistake a lot of people make is they read their phone or their tablet as they're in bed. You know, we recommend at least 30 to 60 minutes without having some kind of screen time, like something that doesn't glow in your face. Reading a book is okay. Some people say even 2 hours before bed you should avoid doing any of that. Because that can disrupt your sleep cycle. That glow, that light can disrupt your sleep cycle. And then avoiding caffeine later in the day, avoiding that nightcap, avoiding heavy alcohol use right before bed certainly can kind of make your sleep habits healthier. And then, you know, trying to do kind of wind down exercises or just, you know, meditation exercises. Those things work really well to help you kind of wind down and fall asleep. Sleep
aids. What do you think about them, and why do you think most people don't really need them? We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah. Sleep aids don't have a lot of good data behind them that they're safe and effective. There are all different kinds that do all different kind of mechanisms. The majority of them on the market have some kind of antihistamine in them, like diphenhydramine, which is Benadryl. So you'll find the bulk of them have that, but there are things like melatonin or prescription drugs that you can get. You know, in certain circumstances where you have certain types of jobs or your circadian rhythm has some kind of abnormality, you know, those things might be okay, but I would, you know, have a discussion with your doctor before introducing any kind of sleep aid. But in general, we tell people to try to avoid them. They generally don't work that well, or they make you feel groggy the next day, and the sleep's not that great during the night, and they do have some added risk.
Wow, okay, a lot to take in, but a lot of good information as we lose an hour this coming weekend.
That's right.
Doctor,
Enjoy.
thank you so much. We appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Yep.